Hey, you guys, welcome to Regardless. I am so excited to have you here. Regardless is the go-to hub for tips and tools to keep you going, babe, reminding you that you've got this. Welcome back to Regardless, my loves. Today is a very special episode. I know I've had like a week or so of just a pause, and it's because I need to start taking my own medicine. And when I am not doing well, it is okay to prioritize my mental health and to take a break from life. So now I'm here updating you guys, and it's also a special episode because I'm turning 27. Well, when this episode goes out, I will be 27 already. And there's also a massive, huge life update that I need to share with you all. And this is me being completely real, no filter, with what the frick is going down in Skylar's world right now and how this is going to impact Regardless and the future of what the frick is going down here, which I'm very excited about. But there's also another aspect of this that is heavy, that is deep, that is real. And I know that a lot of you girls listening have either experienced this in the past or are currently going through it. Last week, I got laid off. And I think the timing of this has been extremely challenging and weird for me. I really see myself as like a driven girl. I always have been. And I think I always imagined that at age 27, I would be making X amount of money. I would be thinking about marriage and kids and all the things that we do dream about when we're young girls. And the fact that I got laid off a week before my 27th birthday wasn't the greatest news to hear. And a week later, I'm feeling much better because when it happened, of course, I was a wreck. And I've been able to pivot. And I think I really want to start opening the conversation with you, my love, and like speaking to you and with you to remind you that you are not alone. Life is hard. And I'm here to be a voice, to be an inspiration, to be a resource, to remind you that we've both got this, regardless of getting laid off. So here's my story. Here's how it went down. So it was like a Monday morning or Monday afternoon, and my manager was in London, and he texted me and he said, "Sky, are you free tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. PST? I owe you a conversation." We were supposed to talk about deals and strategy. I'm like, of course, I'm free. Next morning, October 22nd, 8:30 a.m. PST, I was wearing like a massive jacket that was like kind of scary looking, had no makeup on, whatever, hopped on the Google Meet. And you know how you can be in the waiting room before you enter the call? So that's what happened. And so I see in the waiting room, it's me, it's my manager, and it's HR. Immediate drop in my stomach. Fuck, this is the end. Like, I'm kind of laughing at it now, but like in the moment, I immediately started shaking. And just knowing my experiences at this company, I've never felt safe. So a lot of past anxiety that I've experienced with HR at this company was all resurfacing for me. So I hop on the call, and my manager shares with me, due to the recent acquisition, we are starting to rethink our strategy, and unfortunately, we have to let some players go. And you are one of them. And then HR took the mic and just said, "We are parting ways." And to be completely honest with you guys, I, at that moment, started to get emotional. And it was hard for me because I remember in that moment, I'm like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, save it for after, save it. And I'm like, fuck, it's happening. The tears were coming out. And I'm like, this is so embarrassing. But at the same time, like after, thank God also, side note, I was home in San Diego, which was literally God just holding me, being like, Sky, babe, we were not going to let this happen to you unless you had your boyfriend, your dog, or your mom or your dad. And I had my emotional SWAT team, my mom and my dad, waiting for me in the living room. Thank God. So once the call ended, I let it sink in for a bit. I went to the mirror and was just bawling my freaking eyes out because I could just feel me falling into this like black hole of uncertainty, of fear, of not feeling enough, of not being good enough, of what are my next steps? There's no financial stability. What if regardless doesn't work out? Everything started to just bombard on me. I run into the living room and my dad is sitting there so cute with his like coffee reading, and he's like, doesn't even know what's going on, but I'm like sobbing in tears and I'm like, Dad. And he's like, honey, like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I tell him the news, and he was just so calm about it. And he's like, Sky, it's okay. What happened? Take a seat. And my mom is upstairs getting ready to go to spin class, and she hears me, of course, sobbing, and she runs down. And it's one of those things where a lot of people in my world first were like shocked because they love me and they're like, what the fuck? And they know how hardworking I am. But also everyone is like, congrats. Like, this was supposed to happen. And of course, like in the moment of me feeling all of the feels, I didn't feel this way and I couldn't see the light. And I remember looking at my computer and then everything going black, because in a sales job, you lose contact in all of your networks, and your Gmail and everything that was yours is now gone. And so that's another emotional craziness to it that I cannot explain if you're not in sales. But thank God, you know, I feel like I have a deep enough connection with my network that it doesn't matter if it's not coming from the company's name in their email. But I think that adds a whole different dynamic and aspect to, you know, getting laid off or let go, because it's like, oh my God, everything that I've worked on and built at this company is now gone. So it was really interesting, like the process of sitting with this, because I found myself being extremely emotional. And I remember after this all happened, all I wanted to do was just to go on a walk with my mom. And we walked together. We walked 5 miles and we processed it. And I'm just so grateful to have a mom who doesn't add judgment. She just holds space for me. And even like just using her as a soundboard, you guys, everything started to become very clear very quickly. And my mom was like, Sky, the fact that like 4 hours ago you were on the floor sobbing and now you're like excited and energized to see what you can create from this is very telling. And I'm not saying that, oh my God, it happened, whatever, like all is well, toxic positivity. No, I'm having my highs and lows every single day of feeling like shit about it because I don't have the financial stability that I used to have a week ago. But I also am trusting that this was the biggest gift from the universe. And quite honestly, a week later, I can sit here and look at you and be like, this is the biggest birthday gift I think I've ever received, because I can now take a look and pulse check on what it is that I want to do with my life. What do I like doing? What do I not like doing? Also, Sky, pat on the back, because the 4 years that you were climbing the corporate ladder, you were also building your dreams, babe. And you have regardless. And you've been eating, sleeping, dreaming, pitching about it, talking about it, showering to it. So no shit it's happening. No shit the universe removed this boulder from my life, because it's all I've been doing for the past 4 years. Alongside, of course, with hustling hard in my 9 to 5. But it's no secret that I've been walking, talking regardless. And I think that's something that you all know. And what I want to do here, you guys, and I know this is so cliche, but this is literally regardless in real time right now. Like, what do we do when shit gets hard? What do we do when there's a what the fuck moment? What do we do when we get our heart broken, when we lose a job, when we lose a friend, or we lose a family member, or we don't know what to do? And what I do is literally regardless. And that's why this word is so much more than a word for me, because in real time, when I was getting fired, terminated from a job that I put so much of my effort and my heart into, I use the word regardless. Regardless of being let go, this is not rejection, but redirection to get to start and create and build what I want. The universe is protecting me, and I get to start. I get to start this, and I get to continue this, and I get to create my legacy even more with 100% of Skylar energy of full throttle. Because where this podcast is right now with me doing a 9-to-5 at the same time, oh my God, can you imagine what this is going to look like when I'm able to put all of myself into it? Pretty freaking amazing. So I just want to let you know, babe, if you have been fired, if you've been let go, if this is happening to you right now, you are protected. This is a chance, and we don't get a lot of these in life, but this is a chance for you to sit with yourself, to journal, to get really, really clear on what it is that you want. Do you want to continue this job? Is it making you happy? Is it making you fulfilled? Is it, yes, paying your bills, but is it getting you in the direction that you want to be in? Like that silence, that pause, that chance to be able to get to ask yourself that with not owing anyone or a company anything, that is powerful. And that's an opportunity. And I think when we are hit with these moments of the rug getting ripped from beneath us, we get a choice. We don't have to play victim. We don't have to say, why me, playing victim mode. We don't have to choose that. We can choose a regardless. We can choose to pivot regardless of heartbreak, regardless of losing this job. What is the opportunity here? And I want to tell you guys something. I got coffee the other day with a sensei. He's incredible. He came into my life when I was at the depths of being burnt out, not happy in my 9-to-5. And I remember him being on the phone with me. This was like 6 months ago. And he's like, what are you doing, Skylar? You were a hamster on the wheel. What are you doing? Where are you going? You have to take care of yourself. You have to, because you're going to crash and burn. And I think the universe did the biggest gift for me by removing this boulder because I wasn't going to remove it. And that forced me to get really honest with myself to be like, Sky, is this serving you anymore? Am I showing up as my best, greatest self every day? Did I learn a lot? Heck yeah. Am I so grateful for my experience in corporate America? Hell to the yes, because I would not be sitting here today. Anyways, I'm sharing what the sensei shared with me as of yesterday. We randomly ran into each other at a random event 2 days after I got laid off, after not speaking for 5 months. We met one time on that phone call where he was like, what the fuck are you doing? We met at a random event 2 days after I got laid off. I'm like, whoa, this is a sign from the universe that you're sitting next to me right now. We got coffee yesterday, and I declared to him that I'm going full throttle with the Regardless podcast and evolving it into a platform for 20-something women to remind you that you've got this, regardless of what shows up in your life in your 20s, because this is a very challenging decade with tons of unknowns and uncertainty. For example, like the one I'm talking about today. I declared this to him. And he goes, Sky, all you can do is show up every single day. You do not need to know the how. All you need to do is show up, put one foot in front of the other, and trust and see it. If you don't see it, it's not happening. And he goes, just like the birds that fly over the sky, and when they're hungry, they soar down and they get their food. They don't know, they're not thinking about where their next meal is coming from. They just trust. And somehow they rely on Mother Nature every single day. And so if you got fired or let go, regardless of that, show up every single day, babe. You don't need to know the how. Fly like a bird. I know that's so cliche, but trust in the universe, trust in Mother Nature, that you're always protected and rejection is redirection. I promise you that. And I'm doing it with you. It's not easy. And I think kind of what I want to do here is really like honor my younger self for, I'm going to get emotional, for putting one step in front of the other for the past 4 years. And I think right now I'm really, shedding an identity of being this corporate girly. And I'm just so proud that I always put myself in the fire. And being 24 years old, my first job out of college was sales. And I was put on phone calls pitching Fortune 500, 1,000 companies without really knowing anything. And I put myself in the fire without knowing anything. And I remember telling myself, like, regardless of being scared shitless right now and having to pitch someone who's 20, 30 years older than me, regardless of how this phone call goes, I'm so much more than my career. And saying that to myself, pitch after pitch, got me through the 4 years, got me to rise to one of the most leading influencer marketing companies worldwide. I've gotten to meet and create amazing relationships with some of the top players in the space. I've learned the power of networking, of relationships, of building a business, of how to scale influencer marketing content, of what it means to be a brand, to have a voice, to advocate for yourself. I've learned all of that. And I think it's time to just step into I'm getting emotional. Like being a founder and now going full speed with my dream and what I've been working on for the past 4 years. And as hard it is to shed an identity like financial stability and benefits and insurance and being a corporate girly and in sales, those skills will always be with me and that legacy will always be with me. But it's like, how can I hone that in to enhance, amplify, and scale regardless to create an impact and value for this world? Because God knows we need it. So my motto for turning 27 is stepping into the fire. It's okay to not know how, and showing up day in, day out, regardless of what shows up, because God knows it's only going to get more crazy in entrepreneurship. But I know that this mindset is what has been my rock for the past 4 years and what will continue to be my rock, babe. I'm ready. And I'm so excited to bring you all with me. It's going to be freaking awesome. I love you guys. You've got this. I also quickly want to call my mom because she's joining me full time on the podcast, which is super exciting. As you guys know, she's a therapist, and you will be seeing a lot more of her now that I'm doing Regardless full time, and we're scaling this into a larger platform. Details are coming soon, very, very soon. We're under construction, but you will be seeing her in the studio in real time, and I could not be more flipping excited to not only bring my experience being in the trenches with you all, but also my mom's experience of raising two 20-somethings, being by my side through thick and thin, and also like her experience and wisdom of like what she would want to tell her younger self. Because we don't have to do all of this alone, my loves. There are people older than us who can share what they've learned so that we can grow at a quicker rate. Okay, I'm calling my mom, and it looks like there's someone here. Okay. 1 second. Calling her. This is so exciting. Hang tight, my loves.
Hey, Skylar.
Hi, Mama. You're in the studio with us in real time.
Oh my goodness. I wish I could just, morph myself right there to
I
be
love
right with you,
you.
to give you the most ginormous hug on this auspicious day
I
in this
know.
moment that literally, girl, you're doing it.
I
So,
know, and you're doing it with me, and I'm literally like have Andy and Michelle here, and like literally, I don't know why, but I got so emotional. I think we both know why I got so emotional.
yeah. Well, what's going on? Tell me the
It's
feeling.
just super exciting, like stepping into the unknown. And I just shared with everyone that, like, regardless of not knowing how or what something looks like, I think
Yeah.
there's something so powerful about A, trusting the universe, but just stepping into the fire and like what that looks like for me and for us.
Oh my goodness. You're in a really good headspace right now, babe. I can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think it took for you to get to this place of acceptance and forward movement?
You know what's really cool? I think I remember talking to dad and I was like, Dad, like, I just accept it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm surrendering to it. And I think that's the number one thing. Like, when the rug gets ripped from beneath you, I think the one thing that you can do, which is so freaking hard, is accepting it. Like, sitting with it and accepting it. And, I think the process of acceptance, there's not a specific timeline, but I remember when I told this to dad, he was like, Sky, looking back at like where I went wrong or just how I could have improved business challenges has been accepting it.
Yeah, like not fighting anymore,
Yeah.
right? I know, and I would have to say, Skylar, acceptance is one of the most difficult things for people to do. And when we talk about surrender, people often like don't really understand what that means. Like it is an action, but it doesn't mean like letting go means that you are in that process of accepting. So in order to let things in, you have to release to let the new stuff in, right? And you don't just get here. I think when we look at you or anyone for that matter, when you start to look at like, how do I deal with loss? How do I move through this challenging time about losing your job and stepping into your power? It doesn't just like go from point A to point B, right? As you know, you have to allow yourself to feel all the feels. And even I remember on Tuesday, a week ago, Tuesday, when this all went
Yep.
down for you, and thank God you were home because we could
Tea
just
gods.
be there
I know.
to like be with you. Actually, it wasn't like we immediately picked you up off the ground. We laid down with you for a bit.
That's a great way of putting it.
And it's kind of like you have to see that there's so many emotions that will surface at this time. Like you faced the shock, the denial a bit. You got through some anger, some frustration, some sadness, fear, anxiety. You had moments of like, oh my God, I thought this was my identity.
Yeah.
And then you go through that like confusion and what's going to happen and fear and anxiety. And it's like, you just move through that. It takes that time. And the end result where you ultimately want to get, which is what I'm hearing you are right now, is in a place of surrender, acceptance, and excitement.
Yeah, Mom. And I think like this is so cool because what I learned through all of this and even my corporate job is like, regardless of the stress of the day to day, like how can we have more fun?
Yeah.
And that's something I really, really want to entertain in turning 27.
You get to decide what fun means.
Yeah.
And your fun is totally different than was the beginning of your 20s, right?
Absolutely.
Like sometimes, and even where I am at my stage of the game, like fun could be for me ending up in my room, before 9 p.m. in my pajamas watching an amazing Netflix show. I could be like,
Yeah.
I'm so down for this, right? But I love that, Sky. I think cultivating and calling in more fun and being more joyful, and I want to say this word,
Playful.
even in work. Like, I think about this too with this next phase of like what's next.
I know.
It's crazy. Like, even for me, it's like I thought about this. I'm like, I want to embrace this time and I want to embrace what's to come, which is I know it's a big step for you, but you've been seeding it. You've been tilling the soil, fertilizing it. You know, we've planted some gorgeous little seeds for plants, and you can see that. I feel like I'm watching you till your beautiful land that's going to be growing this amazing, regardless platform. But I also have to go, oh my God, I'm in that. I'm in the dirt with you. And it's a really big step for me too.
Mom, I'm so proud of you.
It's cool.
It's so cool.
Time to be bold, time to be daring, time to take risks, have fun, giggle, learn, and grow.
I agree. And I think like, Mom, our relationship, I'm so flipping grateful for this because like us just being so real about, look, this is hard shit. Like on a day-to-day basis, even now that I have all the time in the world to go after my dreams, it's like, well, what does that look like? And it's like the fear of failure, the fear of even success. Like, what do I do when people are relying on me? Like, how do we navigate all of this unknown? And I know how to do it because I've been doing it.
Yeah.
But I think also when you have the freedom, there also comes this other aspect of fear.
Oh, huge.
So me just being completely real here, it's not like, oh my God, life is all great now. It's beautiful and awesome. And I'm energized. I'm like, let's fucking go. But there's also a fact of us being real. And it's like, okay, this is reality.
Well, it's one of those things, Scott, and I know I've said this to you so many times. When you're at that edge, okay, so just visualize you, and I'm right there holding your hand, and we're looking over this, oh my gosh, this abyss, and the abyss is unknown, okay? So you can stay frozen, or you could go, I want to know what's down there or around there, and you got to jump, okay? So when we're at that place of experiencing both fear and excitement, that is your point of power, girl. And I think it's hard. We don't know. We don't have the answers for what's to show up tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. So, you know, it's taking those small actions like we talked about confidence. It's like facing the unknown, having the courage to be able to step into uncertainty. And then you start to go, oh my gosh, you look back and you go, I just did that. What skill set did I learn? How did I get from there to here? And you do it again, you do it again, you do it again. And you are tending to yourselves, which is so important. When you feel the feels, when you feel the fear, the one tip that I'm going to say, and I'm not going to talk too much.
Love you, Mama.
But I encourage you to like, just get quiet, touch the fear, close the eyes, let yourself go. Okay, what am I feeling right now? I'm feeling fear. I'm feeling anxiety. It's like, okay, anxiety, you're safe here. Talk to me. What do you want to tell me? Your feelings are coming because they're trying to communicate something to you. And typically if you sit for about 90 seconds, that feeling will either begin to morph and transmute into something else, or it might give you some sort of notion or idea or something that you need to pay attention to because you need to take action. So, you know, this is all happening for a reason, and it's so great. And yes, it's not easy. It's probably going to be one of the hardest things.
Yeah.
But you know, you don't know this yet, but giving birth was the hardest thing.
Oh God.
And yet the most rewarding.
And that's how I feel about regardless, Mama.
Yeah, I know that.
This is baby number 1.
Yep. Yeah.
Mom, I love you. I love you. I love you, my Scorpio sister. And
oh my gosh,
this is, Mom, we're going to look back at this episode and it's going to be like, whoa, damn girl, that's when it started. It's when it freaking started.
Ugh.
On the up. On the up.
I see you. I know you can do this. You've got this. And I'm in it with you, girl.
I love you, mama. I'll call you later, okay?
Okay. I adore you. Take care, baby.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you guys. Like Mama Sorkin said, you've got this. New episodes drop every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.